Good day once again. Mr. Taboma Upage, security training. As I promised on the last episode to say, I'm going now to be doing Grade E, Module 2. Grade E, Module 2. By the way, this is the Grade E that I'm talking about. This is the Grade E I'm talking about. Manuals are also available on request. Any manual you want, any grade you want, they are also available on request. Right. So now today we are going to do Module 2 Grade E, since we finished Grade E Module 1 the day before yesterday. So Module 2 Grade E is titled Basic Occupational Safety. Yes, this is the basic practice of safety in the workplace. Yes, that is the main aim here. Like, it's about ensuring safety in the workplace. Hence, it's called occupational safety. All right. By ensuring basic occupational safety or safety in the workplace, we have to be able to prevent accidents, right? We have to make sure that we have got emergency plans in case maybe a disaster occurs or an accident happens, so that you'll be able to put precautionary measures there to avoid accidents. Hence now I'm going to give you the opening line of basic occupational safety, since we are about preventing accidents in the workplace, ensuring safety in the workplace. What is an accident? The definition. An accident is an undesirable event often caused by unsafe acts or unsafe conditions which result in injury to personnel or damage to property. That is the definition of accident, which we are trying to prevent here by applying basic occupational safety, which means ensuring safety in the workplace. Right. On completion of this module, let's look at the objectives now, which is the aims of this module. What is it designed for? All right. On completion of this module, the student must be able, with regards to symbolic safety signs. Those are the signs that we see all over the place. Yes, I'm talking about these signs. These are what we call symbolic safety signs, since they said the student must be able, with regard to symbolic safety signs, things like this. Things like this. Right? We've got things like this. Right? We also got things like this. Right? Then we have things like this also. These are what we call symbolic safety signs. So on the objectives, they say, on completion of this module, the student must be able, with regards to symbolic safety signs, number one, list 3 parts of safety signs, which means the 3 things that makes the signs differ from each other, because all the 5 categories of them are not the same. Number 2, list various categories of symbolic safety signs, of which we've got 5. General information, fire information, warning information, prohibitory information, mandatory information. It's 5 types or 5 categories. Then number 3, identify and categorize specified symbolic safety signs, which means you must be able to identify. It's not written anything here, but it means something. So you must be able to identify it and categorize it, to which category it belongs, and for what purpose is it installed there. Right. And then number 4, list the dangers of smoking in non-smoking areas. places like a garage which is selling gas or petrol. The security officer must ensure compliance to safety signs is observed by all on site. You must make sure everybody complies with the signs, what they mean, what action should be taken when you reach that sign, and so forth. Symbolic safety signs, they guide you, not in any language. That's why they call them symbolic safety signs. You can go to Japan, China, UK, America, Mexico, Caribbean, Africa, you still see the same sign, meaning the same things, but under different languages. These signs are multilingual. They know no culture. They don't have boundaries. But it rings in your mind to say, this thing is trying to say this. And then you have to do exactly as what the sign says. Right. So a symbolic safety sign consists of 3 parts, which means it's all the 5 they are different because of what? Of the shape of the sign, the color of the sign, and the picture inside the sign, or the pictogram. It still means the same thing. Right. Symbolic safety sign is a universal accepted pictogram that informs a person of a dangerous situation in terms of warning signs that might exist. The purpose of having symbolic safety signs is that no matter what language a person speaks or what level of literacy they have, they are able to understand the meaning of a particular notice in the form of a sign, meaning something but not written in any language. That's what they are trying to say. I've traveled a lot. I don't want to mention because I've been even out of the continent, but I have seen these signs the same in each and every country where I went to. Even when you watch movies, you can see it's in Europe. You've never been to Europe, but the signs they're still the same. You understand? So a symbolic safety sign consists of 3 parts, which means all the various types of safety signs, they differ because of the 3 parts. The 3 parts, which is what? The shape of the sign, the color of the sign, and the picture inside the sign, or what you call the pictogram. Under this module, that's where your question 1 is coming from. It will be saying list 3 parts of safety sign, which is number 1, shape, 2, color, 3, picture. On the progress test 1, as well as in the final test. This question still comes under question 1. I hope you understood. Let's check now the categories of safety signs, which means the various types of safety signs, which they say you must be able to identify and categorize. Safety signs are divided into 5 categories, each with a different shape, color, and picture. The same thing I was talking about. First one is general information. Here is it. Square shaped, green background, and a white picture. Whenever you see a sign like this, square shaped, green background, and a white picture, we call it a general information sign, which means for everybody. It can be informing you, like this one, of an escape route. When you see this thing, when you see this thing, don't think maybe it's a marathon place or something. No. They are trying to show you an escape route. Usually it comes with an arrow showing the direction of the escape route. That's how it works. Right. So, general information, it's a square shape with a green background and a white picture or pictogram, right? It provides a person with general information, right? With regard to premises, e.g. direction arrows, right? Toilets, emergency exit, assembly points, transport interchange, zones, markets, places, right? Towns, CBD, theaters, first aid kits, and first aid sites. This is what we call general. It's for everybody. They give you information, general information with regard to premises, right? For example, direction arrows, toilet, emergency exit, assembly points, transport interchange zones, marketplaces, towns, CBD, theaters, first aid kits, and first aid sites. That is the purpose of a general information sign, which is category number 1. Category number 2, we've got fire information signs. There we go. It shows you the location of firefighting equipment on that premises or in that building. In case you need firefighting equipment, this will show you the direction where you are likely to get a firefighting equipment. For example, now, here they like to put the arrow on top of this. This goes on top of this, showing the direction where the fire extinguisher. Under this sign, you see a real fire extinguisher in real time, which you can actually grab and use it to extinguish fire in case of emergency. That is fire information sign. Right. It is a square shape with a white background, red border, and a red picture. It provides information as to the location and type of firefighting equipment found on a premises or a building. That is category number 2, fire information signs. Category 3, warning information signs. There we go. Triangular in shape, black border, yellow background, and a black picture. You can check this one is written, beware of a step hazard, which means there is a step, which means you must raise your foot so that you cannot hit on the step. We've got the most common one that we find in malls when those mamas are mopping in the morning before the start of business, which are written wet floor, caution, wet floor. It's the very same thing, warning information sign. It even also identical to the road traffic sign, which warns you about warning. You remember, if you got a license or went for driving school, it's also triangular in shape, yellow background, and a black picture. That is warning information sign, which is triangular in shape with a yellow background and a black border and a black picture. Right. It warns us of a dangerous situation that might be present on the premises, or it shows you where there is a dangerous situation on the premises, like those for wet floor, caution I'm talking about. When we reach there, the one who is mopping the floor will say, no, use this direction. Maybe it's still wet there, so that you don't trip and fall and break your ankle, things like that. Right. It is important to know the meaning of this sign so that you do not endanger yourself when you are on patrol. So when you are in patrol, you must know these signs, what they mean, so that you cannot endanger yourself by going into that zone where the sign is. That is category number 3, which is warning information. Category 4, we've got prohibitory information. Circular in shape with a white background, red border, and a black picture. There is it. Circular in shape, right? White background, a red border, and a black picture, which has got a red cross across that picture. Like this one, no smoking. I'm sure everybody is very, very aware of this one. Most of the places, they don't want smoke. So it's always displayed there for everybody to see. The sign prohibits or prevents us from doing certain activities in certain areas. For example, this one is for smoking. You must obey these signs at all times and report any employee you see disregarding these signs. For example, no smoking, no guns, no alcohol, etc. Right. This is now prohibitory information. Then we move now to mandatory, which is the 5th one. That's the last one under categories of symbolic signs. The last category. We've got mandatory, which is circular in shape. These ones. Ignore these two. Mandatory is this one, right? It's circular in shape with a blue background and a white picture, as you can see, right? These signs are laws unto themselves, right? Which means when you see this, it's a law. You remember COVID, no mask, no entry. It was a law. If you break that law, you're not going to go into that shop. You understand? And they have to be obeyed by everyone because they are compulsory, which means everybody, even the president, even a beggar, even a common person, even an ordinary person. It applies to everybody, all and sundry. They deal mainly with protective clothing most of the time. You must report any employee who fails to wear protective gear as indicated by the sign. Some places they want you must put a helmet if it's a construction site. Some, they want you to put safety boots if it's a workshop where they work with sharp objects. And then some, like the COVID one, they wanted us to put a mask. That's why they say it's a law unto itself, or it's laws unto themselves. Because why? Everybody must, you must respect the sign, right? If you fail to respect the sign and comply with what it means, you are likely to be reported by the security officer. So you, as a security officer, if you see anybody who fails to wear protective gear as indicated by the signs, you must report to the supervisor and to the client and to your superiors. Then they will deal with that person, because it's all about their safety. That's why they say it's more about protective clothing. Then now we come to the fourth and last part, which is about the dangers of smoking in non-smoking areas. I thought I was showing you the no smoking sign there, which is usually displayed a lot on gas stations or petrol stations or filling stations or garages which sell petrol. They like to display a lot of no smoking signs because of the dangers associated with smoking in a non-smoking area. That's a typical example of a non-smoking area: a garage which sells petrol, a filling station, a petrol station, a gas station, no matter which, however you call it from your country, but any place which sells gas, petrol, diesel, and so on, you must not smoke there. It's a typical example of a non-smoking area. These are the things that can happen if you smoke there. If you are so stubborn and go ahead and smoke there. If your cigarette lighter or matches or your cigarette gets in touch with the flammable liquids, it will cause class B fire, right? Or number two, there can be explosions because the petrol is stored underneath in tanks. Then they will explode one after the other. And then there can be container action of materials. Each container, if it explodes, the other one follows the other one, and so on. Number three, there can be loss of lives. Number four, damage to property. These are the things that can happen when you smoke in a non-smoking area. That is all about basic occupational safety, which is going to advance at grade D as occupational safety, no more basic. All right. You are looking at 3 questions here, both in your progress and in your final exam. Question 1, list 3 parts of safety signs. The answers are: number 1, shape; 2, color; 3, picture or pictogram, whichever way you write it, it's still the same. Right. Sitting at question 2, list 5 categories of safety signs. Number 1, general information; 2, fire information; 3, warning information; 4, prohibitory information; 5, mandatory information. That's sitting at question 2. Question 3 says, list 3 dangers of smoking in non-smoking areas. Number 1, fire; 2, explosions; 3, loss of lives; 4, container action of materials; 5, damage to property. Thank you very much for listening to me once again in this video of mine, which is grade E module 2, titled Basic Occupational Safety. Thank you very much. Follow, like, subscribe, share, comment. I'm all ears. I would like to see in the comments. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one. I'm going to do later grade E module 3, Basic Public Relations. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.